Let's have a look at the hundreds of parts that make up Pocher's high-end die-cast of the famous Lotus 72D in 1/8 scale. This is the 1972 British Grand Prix version in the iconic black and gold of John Player Special. It is specifically the winning car of Emerson Fittipaldi and cannot build the other team car of the Australian driver Dave Walker. The box claims 477 pieces, but when I counted them up, I got around the 420 mark, but that was not counting the screws. And if they're included, the parts count would have to be north of 500, so perhaps there's some spares. We'll find out when it's built. The kit was released in 2022, and according to Phil from Hornby at the Nuremberg Toy Fair,
there's no gluing or painting involved, but it's all screwed together.
Bullshit. Well, it is mostly a screw-together kit. About half of the steps in the instructions call for glue. It's a huge box made up of another internal box with lots of sprues and bag parts, then 2 styrofoam trays full of already painted metal pieces, all neatly laid out and labelled. I should point out this box has been opened by the owner prior to this unboxing video. This is all metal, and this is the cockpit insert, nicely cast and painted. The paint on it is very good. And we've got the base plate there. And that all fits in nicely aligned. But that's I know that's later in the build. I'll just fit them back into their places. Keep this all organised for when we get to the build. The bodywork is all pre-painted in a nice gloss black, and the decoration is already on. It doesn't look like it's decal, it looks like it's been tampo printed. All of the gold livery for the John Player Special and the lining, and all the rivets are there in the wing. This is the nose piece. Just got a protective plastic film over the top, and there's some sort of an oily substance there. I imagine that's just to help protect it all. We'll leave that on until we need it for the build. Front part of the monocoque, some space frame, a sort of cage area, and it's made of metal. Everything in this tray is made of metal and pre-painted. So the front drive shafts, because it got inboard brakes on this model, will go into that cage. Cosworth DFV is all cast up in metal. Nice silver paint on that, so we might we'll add some wash to that to sort of bring out the detail. And this is the back end that connects to the gearbox and bell housing. Then we've got the famous cam covers for the Ford Cosworth V8, already painted and decorated. Holes for the spark plug leads. The exhausts, all 8 pipes are unique, and they've got a hole drilled in the end so that they can be screwed into the side of the engine, into the engine block. Hewland gearbox is in 2 halves, much like what you get in a Tamiya kit really, but made of metal. And they will need to be attached together, and then a whole bunch of other pieces added on. Pop those back into their places, although a bit hard to get those two mixed up. So this is 1 half of the rear wing support, which doubles up as a cooling duct. And then the sides of the monocoque, again, pre-painted and decorated. Looks like it's a really nice gloss black, and there's rivet detail in here as well. And the holes are pre-drilled, ready for screws. So we can only hope that's all going to fit okay. But that tray's got some of the main structural elements of the car and the main parts of the engine. This tray, again, all metal pieces, but lots of smaller pieces, including some bags of tiny pieces. So we'll just get the protective film off. And all of these pieces, there's stickers on the foam to identify what they are. So this particular one here is just the top part of the gearbox. Again, all of these parts are pre-painted. We've got one of the brake calipers. Just looking at it, I'm not sure whether that's for the rear or the front, but it'll go on one end. And the housing for the throttle slide. And to accept the 4 intake trumpets for each bank of the V8 engine. Shock absorber. Now, the shock absorber doesn't work. The suspension appears to be not non-operational in this kit. But that's one of the shock absorbers to go in. Now, there's lots of pieces of suspension in here. This is the brake disc. Brake discs are in two halves, which need to go together so that they're vented from the middle. And we might do something with the outer surface to give it a bit more of a look like there's some friction happen on the side. Lots of suspension parts. This is one of the A-arms for the front suspension. But this tray has also got a whole bunch of trailing arms and suspension pieces, steering column, the steering rack, a few brackets and braces and things in here as well. Then there's a whole bunch of bags. Now, this bag of bags mostly contains all of the different screws. There's a bunch of different sizes, different types of threads, different types of heads. Not quite the variety of screws that were in the Rosso Ferrari build that we've done previously. But again, still lots of screws, some bolts there. I presume they're for mounting to a base or something like that. I haven't analysed the instructions yet. But yeah, lots and lots of different screws, tiny screws. It's going to be a nightmare putting all of those in. But they will stay in their bags until it's time to start on the build and start using them. Next bag. Again, it's another bag of bags. All of these are labelled and mostly either one or sometimes a couple of parts in them, but these are lots of little brackets and levers and braces and so on. So instead of having them in a foam tray, they're all in separate bags. And some of these parts look similar. Got a couple of the spin-off wheel knockoffs there in the back bag. So some of those parts look very similar, but they're different part numbers. So there might be left and right and tops and bottoms and things, which must have some very small, subtle differences. And the third bag of bags. Sitting on top is a stylish plaque that could go onto a base if the model is being attached to a base. Got the mirror material, hydraulic hoses, seatbelt material, although not a lot of it, rubber boots, so those are for the drive shafts, rubber boot on each end. And those are manufactured in rubber. Tailpipes for the exhaust, some other metal pieces, a number of springs. They're small springs, so they can't be... Oh, there's some more seatbelt material. More bolts. A whole lot of tubing. Some more rubber boots, bigger ones in this case, and more springs. Some photo etch for the belt buckles. Oh, there's a screwdriver. It's going to be... I think I'll use my own. They're a little bit bigger. More tubing in different sizes and some metal rods in there. And then just a very small decal sheet that's got the gauges for the dashboard and some decals for on the seat belts and a couple of other things on there. So there's a little bit of decoration to add, but all of the main body livery pre-painted. So again, we'll stick those back to keep them protected until they're needed. So this is the box with lots of plastic parts in it. And firstly, we've got a clear sprue with the surrounding of the cockpit and the rain light. First of a number of plated sprues. So we've got some water hoses in here, and you can see that to simulate the rubber connections, they're already painted, and hose clamps are already painted on them as well. So there's already quite a bit of detail in there. This is the main cockpit surround, and there's little latches for that to be removed. Not operational, but they're there on the model. And we'll need to cut that middle piece out. Hopefully that does not cause any issues or fractures to the plastic. Black sprue, a number of brackets and hoses and arms and linkages and things. More plated parts, the intake trumpets. Looks like pieces from the gearbox or the oil coolers. The injectors there across the bottom. Got the steering wheel and a number of radiators and this black sprue. Not sure if it's painted black or just black plastic, but we'll find out. That's the linkage of the gear lever that will run down past the gearbox to the rear of the gearbox, and some other parts in there. This is the bottom of the nose, which is plastic. The top of the nose that will get screwed on is metal. and there's a little bit of decoration on that. More small parts in this case, as well as some circular gold pieces, presumably for drive shafts, but not sure. There's the front of the engine to go over the valve train gears. Rear wing end plates already decorated. And looks like the fire extinguisher in 2 halves. Some other parts in the bags there. More rear wing components, some braces, and the main under part of the rear wing. More plated parts, hoses, oil pump, parts of the fuel injection. More hydraulic connections. They've got the red and the blue anodizing painted on, so that eliminates some work. And the exhaust headers were in there as well. This is the roll bar and anti-roll bar for the rear. This is a rubber sprue, all right, not plastic, and it's got some wiring, I think those thin parts are, as well as the seat upholstery. So looks like it's deformed, but it's just rubber. These are parts of the rear wheel. Rear wheel is in 2 halves. So that must be the outer rim. These are the front rims, front wheels. The wheels have got the valve already in them. This is the other half of the rear wheels. I'm guessing the inner half. There's the rear view mirrors and some, looks like some other body panels and hoses. Then the tyres. The tyres are a really hard material. So if they're rubber, it's a real hard rubber, and it's going to be interesting to get on the rims. Front tyres are of the same material, smaller diameter obviously, and you can see the grooves in the tyre for the tread depth indicators. So that's been cast or moulded into both the front and rear tyres. It's also part of the front rim. And then we've got some more bodywork, the little side pod radiator covers and the anvil-shaped air intake. Again, nicely done in the black gloss paint and JPS colours. This is the 44-page instruction book, which is full of mistakes. I haven't analysed these yet, but other modelers posting on forums have reported a range of incorrect part numbers and assembly errors. Hornby, which owns the Pocher brand, has issued revised instructions in 4 separate files on their website. But I've combined them into one convenient PDF, which, if you're interested, can be downloaded for free from my website. Link in the description. 44 pages, lots of steps involved, and a lot of study is going to be involved here because the part numbers and the screw types are in those little black boxes, and there's red lines going everywhere. It looks like a road map of Sydney. It looks quite confusing, to be honest. So that's going to be a challenge to follow. So we'll put all of this back ready for when it's time to start the build. I won't be doing this build straight away. I have a couple of other projects I need to knock over first, and then we'll get stuck into it. When it comes to the build, this will be mostly out of box. The owner seems happy with the level of detail that comes in the kit, but we want to reduce that sort of shiny toy-like look of the mechanical parts, so there's likely to be some detail painting and washes applied. If you want to see the build, subscribe to the channel, make sure your notifications are on, and we'll see you another time. Cheers!